Welcome to DomiNations. My name is Mark, and today we will take care of some viewers' questions below my last videos. In some, I wrote down and extracted 8 central questions, and let's stop talking, get right into it. The first question is whether it's sensible to invest crowns for the own museum capacity. So the capacity to store artifacts. You can see I have already invested some crowns so that my capacity rose up to 65 artifacts. I'm not pretty sure whether there is even a limit or whether it's limitless. The costs for upgrading the spaces of artifacts, about 5, are linear and are not increasing. So each 5 capacity cost 250 crowns as far as I know. For all places I have bought, I only paid 250, and I don't know whether this should increase sometime for other spaces. I can definitely recommend you put some crowns over here. This is one of the very most valuable and sensible investment for your crowns. If I have to reason or to argue why, Nexon has shown during the years that there are not frequently, but sometimes, from time to time, willing to change the complete and the entire game in its own by weakening some troops which were powerful previously and strengthening up troops which were pretty weak previously. So if this is happening again, and this happened already 2 or 3 times during the approximately 6 years history of DomiNations, the whole game changes and the feeling about the game completely changes also. The museum is a central aspect about the game itself, due to the fact that it can give very huge bonuses to your own troops and very huge penalties to enemy troops and buildings. So attacking, resources, a lot of central aspects about the game are managed and effected by the museum. And now when the game again will change during the next months, probably years, we don't know, it could be that your currently successful attack strategy or defending strategy changes, and the cards you have in your hand are probably worthless, and therefore it's sensible to have some artifacts sideways to cover up additional strategies which you are currently not driving. So for example, I already got some other artifacts, for example a paratroop artifact over here already, so that I can do some experiments sideways of my ordinary guerrilla tactic, which I'm really favorable with, but I can do some experiments, and if the game should change, I have another card, another option to play, and if the game is changing, I do not have to collect and search and craft first to get artifacts which are fitting to my new strategy. I already have them and I only have to level them. So probably the short answer to this would be being prepared for changes Nexon could implement during the next months and years, and to have enough artifacts for Worldwar as also as multiplayer in your storage. You need storage capacity, and therefore it's sensible to invest crowns over here. Let's come to question number 2. Question number 2 is whether it's sensible to re-roll artifacts. And I can give you a clear advice, a personal opinion of myself. Just and only spend crowns for re-rolling artifacts which are really, really the best. So do not go to any artifacts which are probably good or okay, because each reroll costs about 100 crowns, and trust me, it's easy possible to spend 1000 up to 4000, probably even more crowns per artifact, and in total you have 2, 4, 8, 11 times 2, 22 artifacts. I think multiplying this will give us amount of crowns which the least of us players will possess. So therefore, wait until you will get a very good artifact to level it. Now, the conducting or derivating question from this obviously will be, what is a good artifact? I can only give you my personal opinion about a good artifact. A good artifact, in my case, is an artifact which has at least 2 attributes. Each artifact has 5 attributes, so 5 lines. The first line is the first star, second line second star, third line third, fourth, and fifth. So 5 attributes are in each artifact. If you have unlocked all of them, you will have a 5-star artifact. If you only have unlocked 3 attributes, you will have the 3-star artifact. Now, if you have an artifact and the artifact is intended to do something, so for example, boost your own paratrooper troops, then this artifact should have at least 2 attributes already without rerolling, which are boosting your own paratroopers. In the best way, it has 2 attributes about the intended purpose. So in this case, paratrooper increase, so your own paratroopers, probably health, probably the damage, which are high levels. So in multiplayer, plus 11 would be the very optimum, or plus 11 and plus 6 are okay. And additional has 1 side attribute, which is also really good. So for example, this attribute over here I pulled had paratrooper hit points plus 6, paratrooper damage plus 1, guerrilla hit points plus 6, and guerrilla hit points plus 6. So only the 5th one, the very first attribute was not very good, and I decided to reroll it, and now I got 3 times paratrooper increase and 2 times guerrilla increase. And this is what I personally call a really good artifact, which was worth rolling or re-rolling and spending crowns in it. So don't waste any crowns for artifacts which are not really good. Just spare or save those crowns. Question 3 is about our vault and related or connected artifacts. So obviously we are able to get some artifacts or to craft some artifacts in the museum which have either vault capacity increase or vault interest increase. Let's make this calculation slightly easier. Let's say we can put 10,000 oil inside, oh, that's like 16,000. 10,000 oil inside the vault, and let's say we'll get 5% of interest. Doesn't matter how much we take, it's just a calculation example. We can get 5% of interest, which would mean we would get 500 interest and in sum 10,500 oil after 24 hours. Now, for the first example, we will increase our vault capacity by about 15%, which would mean we could store 11,500 oil inside, and we would generate 575 oil after 24 hours, which would give us 12,075 oil. So 12,075 oil as interest. Now let's come to the second example, and in the second example we are not increasing our capacity by 15%, but our interest. So still we are putting in 10,000 oil, but we are generating 2,000 oil as interest, so we will get out 12,000 oil after 24 hours. And if we are comparing now both values to another, we have to store less oil to generate in sum more oil. So our own capacity, our own oil we are taking from our storage is less, but nevertheless, the amount of oil which is automatically and without any action of us getting produced as interest is higher. Therefore, the clear recommendation is, if you are aiming for more interest from your vault, don't focus on the capacity, focus on the interest. Which leads us directly to the next question, question number 4. Question number 4 is about which or whether short-time artifact boosts are sensible, such as increased vault interest, increased vault capacity, forest clearing, refund, increasing of road income, caravans income, farms and oil drill towers income, and reduction of the resource cost of your own research. Wow, that was not in the tongue you. So first, vault interest. We have already talked about, I'm not a fan of vault capacity, but about vault interest. To clarify, short time artifact boosts mean that you are getting inside the game, and when the time is very fitting for your own demand, you go to your museum, activate another artifact which has only some good values for a very specific amount of time. Then, for example, you are clearing your forest, you are collecting your oil drill towers, collecting the roads, conducting some research, and after having this done and used the short time bonus of this artifact, you are changing back again to your ordinary artifact constellation. Let's say constellation. That's what is meant with short-time active artifact boost. And vault interest is pretty good. We have already talked about better than vault capacity. Forest refund, I'm not a huge fan about, due to the fact that the forest costs are really low. I mean, they are gold, and gold is a resource which got pretty much senseless during the last years of the game. It's not hard to get it. We have huge resource boosts from the museum and from other sites, and also loot above 2 million is good, but not anymore as sensational like it was previously. Next, we have our production buildings, such as the farms, such as the Aldrich Towers, the road, and our caravans, and boosting their income. I'm also not a fan about this, due to the fact, but this is only my personal opinion, due to the fact that I'm working the whole day over, and ordinary I'm getting online at, I don't know, in the morning and in the evening. And when I'm getting online, all of the oil towers, for example, are completely full. Now, what are we able to do with our museum? We are able to increase the production rate of our producing buildings. So they are producing faster. And for me personally, it does not matter whether they are completely full after 8 hours and I'm collecting them, or whether they are completely full after 4 hours and I'm collecting them after 8 hours. I'm simply not that enough often online. What would be really great, for my personal opinion, to increase the storage capacity of those buildings. This would be an option I would really take, but so far I haven't found any artifact which is boosting the capacity. Therefore, my personal opinion is no recommendation for a short time increase our producing buildings. At least we also have research boosts. Unfortunately, I have not found any research boost for the university. I only have found some for the library. For the library, in my personal opinion, if you are even taking some advantages, only take those advantages which reduce your oil costs. But even them are really small in margin. In the university, we have much higher oil costs, which could be saved. But like I told you, I haven't found any artifact decreasing the costs of our university research. Another recommendation I can give you is just do some short time boosts with about all of your artifacts, but do not some short time boosts and changing around with offensive or defensive related artifacts. You are messing around, you are not remembering, you are forgetting someone is or someone or something is just getting your attention when you are playing. So you are getting called while playing, and you are deactivating or closing DomiNations, forgetting about to reactivate your ordinary constellation, and then it's pretty bad. So therefore, do not make any changes or any short-term effects about your own offensive and defensive related artifacts, just only about those economical ones. Question number 5 is about whether artifacts are better which has 2 times 1% bonus than 1 time 6% bonus. So the questioner of this question is obviously talking about Worldwar artifacts, because those have a maximum of 6%. Let's do some little calculation. Each artifact which has a basic bonus of about 1% can be upgraded 9 times to stage 10, and all artifacts will get by maximum, or all attributes will get by maximum upgrade plus 9% in total. So if we are now talking about an artifact which has 1 time 6% as basic value, and another artifact which has 2 times 1% of basic value. If we are now upgrading it to the fullest, we will get 1 time additional 9% to the top, which results in a maximum of about 15%, and at the other artifact, we will get 2 times 9, which will result in a maximum. At the very end, having the upgraded maximally, or in the maximum, you will get 20%. So obviously, if we are talking about Worldwar artifacts, it is more to prefer about artifacts which have 2 attributes fitting to your own demand than only 1 attribute, which is fitting in the maximum percentage, so 6%. In multiplayer, it's slightly different due to the fact that we are able to get plus 11% bonuses. So 1 time plus 11% bonus, or 2 times 1% bonus. The 11 time bonus will give us, with maximum upgrade, 20, and the 1% bonus will give at least also 20. But the fact is that the artifact with the plus 11% attribute has only blocked one place or one attribute, one line with this attribute, and the other artifact has blocked 2 lines to get the same value. So multiplayer definitely go for plus 11% values. So here's the hierarchy of all constellations which could occur in the multiplayer. Most favorable is obviously 2 times 11%. Second place 11%, 6%. Third place is divided. So 11%, 1% generates the same maximum amount of percentage like 6%. 11%, 1% generates in total 30% attribute boost, and 6 is 2 times 15, maximally upgraded, and also therefore generates 30%. Fourth place is about artifacts which have 6% and 1% bonus, and the least favorable ones for multiplayer should be about 1% boost. Just only to sum it up, if you are going for Worldwar, do not take 6% attribute either, or do not take 6% attribute more likely than 2 times 1% attribute. In multiplayer, just only focus for those attributes which have 11% bonus. Question number 6. Whether it's more sensible to boost your own defense than to weaken the enemy offense. Mostly we should talk about Worldwar, but this is also directly applicable for the multiplayer. We have a lot of troops, so enemies can attack with bazookas. Also heavy tanks are popular, bombers, transporters, ordinary fighter jets, commando troops, howitzers. So there are a lot of troops, and now if you try to focus for weakening enemy troops, there aren't even enough artifacts space in your own museum to get all of these troops weakened. Therefore, it's more sensible if you're talking about defense, to strengthen up your own defense, your own towers, your own air defenses, cannon towers, whatever, and your own defender spawn time, than to weaken enemy troops. Just simply due to the fact that there are that many enemy troops, you aren't even able to weaken all of them. And if you are weakening them, especially the heavy tanks. So enemy heavy tank attackers, yeah, they will have a hard life or a hard time against you. But in the Worldwar, it's easy to spy on your museum, so enemies will see this, and then simply another guy will attack you, and you will have a hard time if someone is attacking you, and you have only focused for defending against heavy tank players, and this guy is attacking with bazookas or commandos, and therefore your base is pretty easy to get crashed. Only some side notice, if we are talking about offense, it is definitely sensible to also take the opportunity and weaken enemy defense buildings, because in defense we all have the same buildings, except someone has not built any bunker or air defense, but that would be pretty stupid. So in defense, all of us have towers, air defenses, cannon towers, depots, bunkers, so for example the ordinary buildings. If you are now attacking and weakening the enemy defense buildings, it will directly boost your own attack, and this is not that much complicated like weakening the enemy offense. This is directly leading us to question number 7. Which artifacts make sense for my playing style? So if you are now attacking and playing in the multiplayer or in the Worldwar, no matter, just think about which troops am I primarily using, and what enemy defenses are making me the hardest time. So for example, if you are attacking with commandos, you should not pay that much focus about enemy mortars, enemy sniper towers, enemy redoubts, enemy cannon towers, due to the fact that all of these buildings are your primary troops, the commandos not attacking. They are attacking bazookas or whatever, but when the bazookas are entering the battlefield, mostly all of these buildings are already damaged or completely done. Therefore, make sure, okay, I'm playing with commandos, so enemy defenders are making me the hardest time. So how can I harm those troops? I can just weaken them by letting them spawn later to increase the enemy spawn time. If you are now attacking with transporters, you could definitely think about weakening enemy towers, enemy air defenses, and enemy defenders. If you are attacking with heavy tanks, you should definitely consider to weaken enemy anti-tank guns, probably also enemy defenders. Just think about what is my own style of playing and what is harming my own personal style of playing the most. And then take your artifacts in that direction, that they are mostly supporting what is your own style of playing and what is harming you the most to decrease it. Last question, question number 8. Upgrade artifact, then sell. It is sensible. So whether it's sensible to upgrade artifacts and then sell them. Yeah, partially it is, but I have made an entire video about it, and this video is already 30 minutes, so it would completely be too long to discuss and explain it at this point. Therefore, I will refer you to video number 619, the Museum and Artifact Guide. And I will also give you a link below the video. I can just only tell you that upgrading and then selling artifacts is getting mostly valuable and sensible from Space Age and Digital Age ongoing. So from Space Age ongoing, if you have conducted the complete archaeology research at your library. For more information, just check out video number 619, where you get a detailed explanation how this works. Hopefully that was interesting and interesting for you. Not entertaining, interesting. See you soon. Your Domination Tips.